I hope that after a traumatic pregnancy loss that you are taken to court and potentially in a jail cell. Who knows?
Pronoun of the day is slugs.
Today, this viral TikTok has a nasty and unhinged message for women who support Trump. Let's take a listen.
This is going to be a little bit of a controversial opinion, okay? But I am rooting for the women who voted for Trump.
That's good of you. You know, cheer on our fellow citizens? Or is that not where this is going?
Message directly to them, okay? I hope, and I mean this, I hope that you get everything that you voted for. I'm going to take it a step further. I hope that everything you voted for affects you personally. Lower gas prices? I hope you get that, Queen. I really do. I also hope that you are not able to get that family you've always wanted because IVF is no longer available.
Excuse me? I don't know about y'all, but I can't imagine wishing infertility and heartbreak on people just because they disagree with me politically. And she's also lying and spreading bizarre propaganda. Trump is pro-IVF access and even wants to make it taxpayer funded for all. There's plenty of criticisms you can make of his positions on women-related issues and reproductive issues, but that ain't one of them. At least, not for those of us who live in reality.
I hope that you are in desperate and dire need of medical attention, but everywhere you go, no medical professional is willing to help you. I hope that as you fear for your life and are potentially dying, that you have nothing else to worry about but what will come of the children that you left behind in this world.
That's a lovely thought and a lovely thing to wish on your fellow citizens. Like, look, I disagree with these people, but I don't want terrible tragedies to happen to them. And the scenario she's describing, if it occurs, which is rare and a lot of these cases are disputed, is happening because of poorly written state laws at the state level in states like Georgia, not because of Trump. Although, yes, it's because Trump's justices overturned Roe v. Wade, which they were correct to do so as a matter of constitutional law, but then it just sent it back to the states. And dysfunctional policies or badly written laws, well, your blame should be with state legislatures, not necessarily Donald Trump, on those ones. And regardless of these political differences, maybe don't wish medical tragedy on your fellow Americans. Like, when you find yourself doing that, you're not the good guy.
I hope that after a traumatic pregnancy loss, that you are taken to court. And I hope that you are questioned by a bunch of people that you do not know to determine whether or not they think you terminated that pregnancy on purpose. I hope that you have to relive that pregnancy loss over and over and over again in that courtroom and potentially in a jail cell. Who knows?
So I don't think that's a real scenario facing women, although if it was, I surely would disagree with it. But regardless, it's just evil to wish that on another person just because they have different political priorities or values than you.
I hope that you cannot afford childcare.
Oh?
I hope that you have to give up every career aspiration you've ever had, every hobby, anything you've ever liked, and sacrifice it in order to stay home with your children.
How feminist of you, wishing that upon your fellow women. But what is she talking about? Trump gonna make childcare more expensive? Baby girl, childcare is the most expensive in poorly run liberal cities that have extremely high minimum wage laws and all sorts of regulations that make childcare expensive and onerously so. It's not a Trump issue. Trump is a deeply flawed person and a flawed political candidate as well, but some of these people seem incapable of understanding the world around them as anything other than Trump's fault in all situations and circumstances, which is just deranged.
I hope that this takes such a toll on your family and your financial status because living off of one income, if that, is already difficult enough, but you can't find any resources to help because you voted to end welfare.
Girl, I wish Trump was actually going to end some of these welfare programs, but again, you're living in Delulu land. Trump has promised not to touch entitlements, and when he was president before, he just kept government spending going up and up. Like, the idea that he's going to seriously cut back on welfare programs, not so sure about that one. But if he did, in many ways that would be actually helping people, because those programs are not just rife with fraud and incredibly inefficient with taxpayer dollars, they often trap people into poverty and punish them financially for moving up the economic ladder and getting increased wages or getting promotions. Like, they're actually deeply dysfunctional programs that have trapped generations into poverty. So I wish Trump was going to take an axe to them, or at least scale them back significantly. But again, I don't really think he's actually going to do that.
I hope that when your children come of school age, that you send them off to school and you do nothing but sit all day and wonder if they're ever going to come home.
Well, that's disturbing. Now you're wishing harm on people's children, or at least the fear of harm. And clearly this is a reference to school shootings or whatever, which, again, are incredibly statistically rare. Even in America, even in 2024, the odds of your child being shot in school are infinitesimally tiny. But are we pretending that school shootings only happen when Republicans are president, or that Democrats have some magical bill that would make them stop? Because that's completely delusional and untethered from reality. Tons of mass shootings and school shootings have happened while Biden and Harris have been in power, just like many happened while Trump was in power. It's a societal sickness and problem, not something that ebbs and flows with political parties. And regardless, there is literally no political disagreement that could make me wish school shootings on other people, or even the fear of them. That's disgusting. And something in your heart is not working correctly if you actually lack any degree of empathy or sympathy for even the children of the people who disagree with you politically.
I hope they come home hungry. Because like I said, you don't have a job. You send it off to do childcare because you can't afford childcare and you don't have welfare. And God knows you're not getting free school lunches. Okay.
So now you're wishing on children that they starve, but you're the progressive, open-minded, tolerant, loving one. Excuse me? And again, this doesn't make any sense. Nobody, not Republicans or Democrats or independents, is trying to get rid of free school lunches for the needy, for people who can't afford them. Democrats have tried to push that all schools should give free lunch to all students, no matter how rich their parents are, which some Republicans, myself included, disagree with. Like, I support giving them to people who can't afford lunches, but otherwise, you should pay for your own kid's lunch. Like, if you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, your neighbor making $50K shouldn't be on the hook for paying for your kid's food. That's not responsible. It's not how a responsible society works. But no one, and I mean no one, is trying to take away free or reduced school lunches from the actual needy. You just made that up. Once again, you are shadow boxing within imaginary Republican Party and Republican voters that doesn't exist, so you can demonize your fellow citizens and complete the mental gymnastics in your head required to somehow morally justify wishing such ill and such evil onto other people, including even their children. But once again, the problem is you.
And I hope they come home and they treat you like dog shit. I really do. Because in school, one thing that they used to teach was empathy. Now that's some woke shit, so they don't do that anymore.
Just because people don't want their kids learning about a gazillion gender identities or whatever, like all the woke nonsense, doesn't mean we're going to abolish programs that teach kids not to bully people or to show empathy or whatever. But also, and I know this is an alien concept to many liberals and Democrats, parents are actually able to teach their kids values and good behavior on their own. And not everybody needs or wants the government to parent their children for them.
Okay. And all they know from what you voted for, from what the school teaches, from what their dad says, from what anybody says, that no matter how different you think you are from other women in this country, at the end of the day, you are just a woman. Okay? And women are not deserving of respect. You taught them that. You taught them that. Because you elected a sexist, racist, homophobic, rapist to office over a qualified woman.
So there's a lot to unpack in this bit, including some random buzzwords being thrown in there like Trump being homophobic that aren't true and don't make sense. But also, it is hilarious that you are lecturing people about respecting women in a video where you are wishing death, medical tragedy, starving kids, and even school shootings onto women who disagree with you. Where is the respect for women in that one? And again, Kamala Harris was a terrible candidate who ran a terrible campaign, and she did not lose because she's a woman or because America's sexist. She lost because she was inextricably tied to an administration that people thought was taking the country on the wrong track. And because she had no actual vision, had flip-flopped on every issue under the sun, and people didn't trust or like her. And she had the charisma of a wet blanket, giving word salad non-answers to any question she was asked, and cackling randomly, evilly at the most odd of times. But sure, stick with the victim script. It's working out great for you guys. She just goes on and on like this for several more minutes, but I don't think I can take much more without incurring some kind of brain damage, honestly. The thing I did want to point out to you is that this is not just one angry woman in her car. This video has been viewed 8.7 million times on TikTok and received more than 1.8 million likes from people out there who agreed with it, who agreed with wishing Trump supporting women miscarriages, death, starving kids, and more. That is disturbing. That is a sign of a deeply broken America. I mean, let's just look at a couple of the comments that were left on this video. One person wrote, "Why did this calm my nervous system? Am I broken?" Yes. Another person said, "It's like they watched The Handmaid's Tale and thought, that's nice, we should do that." And that comment received nearly 19,000 likes. I mean, you've got nearly 20,000 people liking a comment and actually believing that Trump's America is going to be like The Handmaid's Tale, even though he was already president once and nothing remotely of the sort ever happened. That's a level of detachment and derangement that I don't know how to fix. Another person wrote, "This is the female rage vibe that I'm here for." And that comment got 143,000 likes. Brought to you by the same people who don't know what a female is. Another person wrote, "I felt guilty for having these thoughts. Glad I'm not alone. I'm not feeling bad anymore." And that comment got 108,000 likes. Wow. So not only is this person in the original video spreading hate and division, they're also encouraging hundreds of thousands of others to wish ill on their fellow citizens over the election. Are you proud of that? Like, as a content creator, is that the difference you want to make in this world? Because boy, that would make me really look in the mirror and self-reflect that I've gone hopelessly astray somewhere. I've lost the plot. But don't hold your breath waiting on this creator to take that sort of accountability or really demonstrate any introspection at all, because you might pass out. That's all I have to say about this unhinged and honestly kind of evil video. And boy, it leaves me deeply dismayed that this stuff is so popular online and this sentiment is evidently so widespread that I'm almost lost for words. Do let me know what you think in the comments below, and do hit that like button to reward my suffering through this sheer toxicity.